Hey, welcome back to MobilityWOD. Special edition today. Has some good friends that have come up through this little badass community. We thought it was relevant to have a conversation about the interesting work they're doing. So I'm going to have you guys just introduce yourselves for a second, and then we'll kind of get to the punchline for a second.
My name's Sarah Olson. I did 13 years in the Navy and worked with CrossFit athletes in Montgomery County, Maryland.
Are you a physio also?
I am not, no, chemistry major.
Chemistry major.
Cheers. David Wallach, most folks call me Chef. Applied human nutrition, dietitian, run a place called CrossFit Rubicon. Had the extreme good fortune to work on a project called the Working Wounded Games with Sarah, Brian Wilson from out at CrossFit Walter Reed. Excited about expanding on that thought.
I'm Jason Sturm, former Army, retired. I'm a CrossFit coach at CrossFit Rubicon and at CrossFit Walter Reed, and I am an adaptive athlete.
Now we're to the crux of the matter here. So what's going on is that we're seeing a lot of really good people solve the same sets of problems over and over. This is how our conversation started. You're seeing adaptive athletes from across the country, and there have been a lot of more adaptive athletes of late, sort of become adaptive athlete aware, solving the same sets of issues over and over again. And what do you guys hope to do for sort of the project that you're working on?
In the whole process of getting the games together,
Which games?
The Working Wounded Games.
The Working Wounded Games.
Yeah.
Where would I find out about the Working Wounded Games?
You might be able to find out about the Working Wounded Games either on the Working Wounded Games Facebook page or directly through the Crossroads Alliance Facebook page as well.
CrossroadsAlliance.org is your website, and also the Crossroads Alliance
On Facebook.
On Facebook. Okay. It's the Crossroad Adaptive Athletic Alliance. The idea is to pull together as many different separate experts, coaches, athletes, to try to centralize the information so it's not so hard to reach out and find answers to the questions that we got in the process of setting up the games.
What questions? What answers? What is he talking about?
We get questions all the time about everything from basic workouts to basic just movements. Hey, how do you squat? How do you deadlift? How do you get out of a chair without using your sound side versus your non-sound side? How do you, can you get your heel down when you do a squat?
Wait a minute. Sound side versus non-sound side? Can you just do 13.2?
I did just.
What was your score?
222.
Sound.
And we have
Sounds pretty badass.
We have another adaptive athlete at our gym that got 250. So 248, 250.
Now, you feel like, we were talking about your strategy and jumping up and down the box. You felt like, hey, I could jump on the box, but it wasn't as fast as the step-ups. Did you run that experiment? Had you run that experiment before?
I haven't. I last year in the Open is when I actually decided that I wanted to start box jumping, kind of forced it. And this year I decided I was going to jump on the boxes as well. And in the process of doing 13.2, I realized very quickly that jumping on the box was not very efficient for me. And what I happened to end up doing was timing myself, and then watching one of my other adaptive athletes do his on step-ups, and noticed that he was doing a step-up to a 3-to-1 ratio to my jump. So when I did 13.2 the second time, I strictly did step-ups, and 58 more reps.
And we're secretly hauling around the gym every time we have an opportunity like that. There's a bunch of stopwatches out, there's a bunch of notepads out, taking a look at how does this movement get done by somebody who's got a bilateral amputee scenario, or limb dysfunction, or nerve dysfunction. How do they compare, different scenarios of movement? How does it work in the exact same workout? And we know folks are doing that all over the country. There's some great work being done in San Antonio. The guys out at Italian out in San Diego. We get calls and emails from folks out in the UK that are doing the same stuff, looking for the same answers, but there's no place to go to find it.
So are people matching up? So if an adaptive athlete or a friend or a family member, we can reach out and call you, just Facebook you friend directly. What's the ultimate dream? What do you guys want to do?
So the ultimate dream is that this CrossroadsAlliance.org website becomes that clearinghouse. Like Chef said, we're taking notes, we're doing videos. We want those up on that website. But we also want, as other adaptive athletes and coaches are doing the same experiments and figuring out what works for their individual athletes, to provide that information, provide those videos and why they're doing what they're doing. Because what works for Jason may not work for every single below-the-knee amputee on their left side.
So you got to sort of figure it out every time, right?
Every time.
But maybe we can come up with a set of templates. I mean,
exactly.
Sometimes I have this conversation with, adaptive athletes, and they're really like, "Do you think it's possible?" I'm like, "We don't know. Let's go find out." I mean, that's really this case, isn't it?
Exactly.
well, I guess I'm going to box jump. I better work that out.
Yeah.
Here's the quiz. Did you make any video of yourself box jumping yesterday?
I didn't yesterday.
Oh!
Yeah, drop the ball.
I'd be happy to do 13-2 again, though.
Well,
I
obviously,
don't know what CrossFit athlete says that.
his brain used to reside in his leg, and now he wants to do it. That's amazing. Okay, so we get a little bit of we get some of this action here. We let people know. We find about it. You guys are out of Walter Reed or near Walter Reed. Where's Rubicon?
Rubicon's in Tyson's Corner.
Tyson's Corner, and that's in Virginia,
Tyson's
right?
Corner, Virginia.
I actually went to Mount Vernon High School, so I know this area. But I think I had my prom in Tyson's Corner. So that's besides the point. Needless to say, the adaptive athlete games you're talking about.
They're working with
We're
games
working week games. When are those?
coming up in late October.
And where will they be?
They'll be at Crossroads Rubicon again this year. It was a blowout last year.
How many people chat?
But just under 30 athletes competing, all without injury classification or age or weight classifications, all on a level playing field, and close to 400 crazy, screaming, CrossFit-driven ambassadors who are all out there now pushing and pulling for us, which is
The
awesome.
very last WOD was in the theme of CrossFit, unknown and unknowable. It was the one secret WOD for the entire event, and you literally couldn't hear what was going on because of the spectators and the athletes and everything else. It was, to me, the epitome of a CrossFit competition. These people were out there to win. They were out there to beat the guy next to them, but they had created this sort of supportive, in a weekend, supportive community that they still keep in touch with. And that's what Crossroads is going to do, is it's going to make it easier to keep in touch and make it easier to be part of that competitive, supportive community.
Ultimately, I got asked the question about how did the day go, and I said, I suppose the day my wife said yes, because she's got a very bad taste in that. The day that my sons were born, shortly followed by the working movie games. And if it works out as planned, I get to add to that list.
There you go. You guys, seek these guys out. You have friends out in the world. You have good ideas. Clearinghouse is happening. This works because we tear down the walls. And quit sitting on your secret squirrel box jump program. If someone needs a better score next year, needs some help. Thanks, you guys. See you guys
Thanks,
tomorrow.
Kelly.
Thanks, man.